Okay, good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Tonight's meeting, Thursday, August 23rd, 2018. Metro Fire Board of Directors will call it to order. We will start with the pledge of the flag. Director Wood, if you would, please. Thank you very much. The open session meeting is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14 replay on Monday, August 27, 2018 at 6 p.m. and Tuesday, August 28, 2018 at 2 p.m. on Channel 14. Webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. Right now is a public's opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within the district, jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers?
Yes, Mr. Roger Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. I'd like to welcome Michelle. Thank you for sitting in with Melissa.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good evening, Mr. Mitchell.
Good evening, directors. My name is Roger Mitchell, directors, chief, staff. Again, it's a pleasure to come before this board and speak. I've been here many times. This evening, I'm here to announce our fundraising dinner for the restoration of Rio Linda's second ever fire engine. Most of you have attended our dinners in the past. I know you've had a good time. So our guest speaker this year is going to be Supervisor Sue Frost from the 4th Supervisory District. But and I know you're being handed out flyers, but there's one thing that is not on that flyer this year. And I'm thrilled to announce, normally I'm the person that gets to announce our guest speaker. This year we have a person that's going to introduce our guest speaker. Person's a pretty well-known individual, world-renowned speaker. You need to be there. You need to be there just to hear this introduction. So with that, it's my pleasure to tell you tonight the person that will be introducing Sue Frost will be our own fire chief, Chief Ted Harms. And we thank you for that, Chief. So again, they're $20 a ticket. It's lots of fun. Hope you can be here. I already have one director that's handed me a handful of money, so hopefully the rest of you will find your way clear to do the same. I have tickets with me tonight. I can certainly do business with you after the meeting, but we look forward to seeing as many of you come to this fundraiser as you can. One thing, if you'll notice on the flyer, that's a picture of Rio Linda's first fire truck. Metro Fire is the proud owner of her, and you always make that available to us at different events, and we thank you for that. So I'm prepared to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Mr. Mitchell, any questions or comments?
I got a question.
Yes, sir, Director Gale.
My engine belongs to the Metro Fire District, right? So any community organization could request the use of it?
The fire truck that's under restoration.
This is to the chief.
So Director Gale, that question is toward the chief?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
He said something about a fire engine is owned by the district. And I say it is available for the use that any organization within the Metropolitan Fire District to be used for exposition or whatever, or schools or whatever.
Yeah, we have a number of pieces of apparatus that a lot of the public, one of the ones that was just mentioned was Sue Frost. Each year there is a parade that's in Rio Linda that she rides on the fire apparatus. We participate in other parades around there. Christmas time, we have some apparatus that we go out and bring Santa along, and it's one of the things that we do for community service. Most of the time, just to be sure, is that people will request the fire department to attend, and we bring the fire apparatus and hang out and then take it home with us. But yeah, we do this all across the district.
Fantastic. What I'll do, the meetings I attend, I'll start announcing that, and maybe we will make use of it.
Oh yeah, there's a number of places that request, especially during the holidays and for, somebody help me, when they have the block watch parties.
Yeah.
A lot of times just the companies go and do that themselves with their own piece of apparatus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I like the one that belongs to the district, That's the kind of thing that I prefer. Okay, thank you.
All right, very good. Thank
Any
you.
other questions?
No questions. Thank you for
Thank you,
the
directors.
presentation this evening. Okay, moving on to the consent item.
Mr. Chair, I move consent.
Thank you. I have a motion. Madam Clerk, motion and second.
Yes.
Director Gale,
Yes.
Director Gould,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Sheets,
Aye.
Wood,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
and Barnes.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. And presentation items, IAFC Fellowship Program Completion, BC, Christopher Green. Welcome.
Thank you, Directors, Chief Harms, and senior staff. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris Green. I'm assigned to Battalion 7 on the B shift, and I had the absolute privilege to be the program director for this offering of the International Association of Fire Chiefs International Fellowship Program. If you recall, it was just about a year ago we were in here discussing kind of the logistics and legalities of putting this program together. And I'm very happy to be here tonight to report out on really what Metro Fire has accomplished in the partnership with not only the IFC, but also the Saudi Aramco Fire Protection District in just this last year. We're going to show you a short video here in a couple minutes, but I wanted to just give a context of what we've accomplished as an organization. I certainly was not alone. 9 other members of Metro Fire here that we worked on a team to put together really a team approach to how are we going to host 8 firefighters from the Saudi Aramco area. And the whole tenet of this was to train these individuals on Western fire standards. We were selected as, we're lucky today to be one of 10 fire departments across the country to participate in this program. And we graduated 7 members through this program, of which just some national statistics today, since this program's been alive for about 2 years. 10 fire departments have joined in, 4 in the makings within the next couple months to start cohorts. And overall, as an American Fire Service, we've graduated close to 80 firefighters. And the biggest benefit we got within our organization was to enjoy a 4-person staffing on an engine company and 7 of our firehouses for just upwards of 6 months. Which not only is a benefit, I think, to the production level that our community and our constituents see, but also gave all of our members an opportunity to train in a way that's a little bit outside the box. The 2 biggest goals of Saudi Aramco are to send their firefighters to the United States and work in a high call volume environment, which, as you know, we do have that here within the Sacramento region, and also to learn what a mission-driven culture is all about. And that was very good timing with what we're doing here internally with the mission-driven culture. And all of this, really was a cost-neutral program. All of our expenditures that we had within our organization were 100% recovered through the IFC, through their recovery mechanisms. And just within that is, I think, a mountain that was pretty amazing to accomplish. And that is a great testament between the relationship that Chief Harms has been building with the International Association of Fire Chiefs. We had the 10th cohort. Cohorts are numbered sequentially, kind of like our fire academies are. And this is a very monumental event for the IFC. And they wanted to produce a video in conjunction with us that highlighted really what an American fire department can do in terms of a true international integration, because this is a very new concept. We're very good, I think, in the American Fire Service at sharing our training on our neighboring jurisdictions with our local borders and so forth, and then we branch out into state and national. But this is really one of the first biggest projects the American Fire Service has done internationally that has caught on and kept running. So I'm going to hit play here. It's about a 4 or 5 minute version of really what I can't tell you. It's about our members doing the work with our Saudi Aramco firefighters.
Do the firefighting and response is modeled on American standards. So when they wanted to do training abroad, it's natural that they came to the United States.
The International Fellowship Program is a community of firefighters from Saudi Aramco as well as fire departments within the United States that have hosted the fellowship program.
We've partnered with the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District to host the 10th group of the International Fellowship Program.
The IFC approached our fire chief about 6 months ago with the concept of fellowship, and we took it as an absolute honor that we were even considered.
So we sat down and they described the program, that the Saudi firefighters would come over, they would spend 6 months with us.
We really felt that this was an opportunity
to do something out of the box, something different. It also gives our members who are all risk the ability to teach.
We've talked with everybody within the district. These folks are coming. They are not recruit firefighters, but people that are experienced.
So we've carefully planned out an orientation to welcome the Saudi firefighters into Sacramento and provide our expectations as an agency alongside with the IAFC.
For me, I came excited to meet my brothers on the other side of the world, but we have the same job.
Today is my first uniform day, so I'm proud to have a Sac Metro uniform.
I am looking forward to improve myself. First of all, to prove to myself I deserve this chance to be here because I was selected between hundreds.
What we'll do is our first scenario, this two-story building right here, okay? Here at Metro Fire, we're giving them basically an online curriculum that would be expected of any of our on-duty firefighters. So everything from ladder throws to all of our different hose operations to victim rescue searches in zero visibility. They've gotten 2 days of live fire training and basically everything they're gonna need so when they come out, they're ready to hit the streets. All of that in 3-week time. Hard work, but it's fun.
Yeah.
After the orientation and the skills verification portion of the program, we place each Saudi Aramco firefighter in a different station where they act as the fourth person on the engine.
One of our goals was not only to expose them to our operations here, but to get them in the field and run a lot of calls and get the field experience.
Metro Fire gave us a chance to be aligned with the crew who were doing the job, not just observer or watch the guys working and you are standing, have nothing to do. No, we were part of the team.
It can be intimidating for someone new to come in to an environment like that, so we didn't know what to expect at all. Farzan blended right in like he'd been there for years.
We want them to embed, number one, fully with their crews and become part of the family. And we also want to make sure that we get them out of their comfort zone, taking part in every different aspect of the program, including community education, taking part in drills and exercises.
At the bare minimum, we wanted to expose them to our westernized firefighting methods and training. And when we realized we were on track for that, we were able to layer in more of the fire service culture with some social events and some activities outside of the firehouse as well.
Lots of different types of activities, from the St. Patrick's Day Parade to soccer games, you name it. We've had just great opportunities, and just the timing has been perfect for this group. As part of the fellowship program, we ask that each fellow develop a research project and present it at the end. We want them to have something tangible to go home with.
I have a passion for teaching and helping people with career development. The skill set I think they had when they came over here, as far as experience putting together papers, gathering research, to where we are today and the finished project, really is incredible.
And to see them develop, set themselves up for career growth and also for success in the future has really been something that we take great pride in.
Our 7 firefighters from Saudi Aramco Fire Protection Department, we welcome them into the Metro Fire family at our kickoff orientation at Station 106.
I think what you all have done for us is just pushed us a step forward and a step outside of what we normally do. And I think it's the same thing for you. So thank you all.
The significance of the graduation is it's the culmination of 6 months of experiences, and it's often a bittersweet time. They're happy on one hand to go home to their families, but they're also sad to say goodbye to their new family.
I cannot describe it in some words because it will take the whole day to describe the feelings. Thank you, Sacramento.
So 2 weeks ago, this video was released to an international audience in Dallas, Texas at the International Association of Fire Chiefs, what they call FRI, Fire Rescue International. I had the opportunity to go out there and represent Metro Fire, and it was quite an experience to see, I think, the Sacramento Metro Fire membership involved in this project. Not only to be released in front of an audience of a couple thousand people, but also, you know, this is all over YouTube. So there's a couple different versions of this video that are out that you should know about. This is what we call the short version. perfect for a YouTube attention span. There's about a 10-minute version as well that's been made available. Captain Vestal has it on our Facebook page on Metro Fire. That gets more into the story. And some folks have asked, well, why a video? You know, why commemorate the 10th anniversary or the 10th cohort? The International Association of Fire Chiefs believes very much in this model, and they really want to work with Saudi Aramco Fire Department to get close to 500 of the Saudi Aramco firefighters through American Fire Service departments. When we started this project a year ago, the goal of Saudi Aramco was about 250 firefighters they wanted to see in the United States over a 5-year period. And I think just a testament not only to what's gone on in California with our host department, but throughout the country, that this is really a way that we're able to give back to the fire service through dropping borders in this program. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I'd like to say that this is further evidence of why I call this organization the high-performing team. Clearly, you guys have done something that isn't being done anywhere else that I'm aware of immediately. My one question is, Saudi Aramco is a petroleum and gas company. So are these guys funded by a private organization, or is it the government or whoever is sending them over this way?
No, they're 100% funded by Saudi Aramco, private corporation. The government fire department structure in Saudi Arabia is what they would call a civil defense. And Saudi Aramco houses about 1,200 firefighters and over 50 firehouses throughout the entire country. And they protect all of the assets of Saudi Aramco. So not only oil fields and refineries and production facilities, but also very large housing developments. A good example of one of their housing developments would be similar to our Rancho Murrieta development. So these firefighters that were with us were here to learn about primarily structural firefighting.
Okay.
You know, protect civilian life. That's the area that they have very little experience in due to good building codes within that company. So this was 100% funded by Saudi Aramco as a private company.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. There aren't. I just want to. I mean, watching that video, I have to say, to see the brand of Metro Fire on a global platform and watching the pride in the firefighters, the demeanor in their voice. I mean, I know high performing. I say first class. I mean, but it's neat to see that growth and that brand to go on a global platform. So well done by you and everybody involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to the reports, President's report. I do not have anything tonight. Move on to the Fire Chief's report. Chief Harms.
President Barnes, directors, thank you. First off, I just want to thank Chief Green. We decided to do this program. We invited them to lunch. We fed them lunch and told them it was going to be really easy. And we sucked him in, and he bit right away, and he managed the whole program. I've called him twice since. He won't answer his phone anymore when I call him. I don't know what's going on. But I will. He talked about a lot of people, and you saw a lot of people in the video. And I used the word organizational confidence. And when I see the people that stepped up, and people will ask me, you know, what was the benefit for you? What we did for our members and the people that you saw in the video and a lot of people that you didn't see, it really organizationally, I think, pushed them out of their comfort zone, and it just built confidence is that whatever you throw at us, we can do. Again, I'll brag on Chris. Not everything went quite as smooth as the video looks. And there was a lot of different things that happened along the way. And for Chris, what I saw was, for him, a very high performer, as you said, Director Kelly. But what I saw for him was his ability to grow also and work on an international level and have Saudi Aramco come here and meet with us and with the IFC. And I appreciate that he went down to Dallas and represented the district. And I knew when they showed the video, because instantly there was a number of folks from around the United States that started texting me, and each one said the same thing of how impressed they were with the video. So thank you. Tonight I have a few things to go through. Probably the first one is one of those ones that you all say it, I don't know if I say it enough, but I'll say it again, or if we say it too much, is how proud over the last few months I am of our members. And where they've been across the state with the amount of activity that has been going on. The reports back from the folks that are out there. Chief Bridge left the other day and went out and met with our helicopter unit and spent the day with them. And they have been doing just an absolute job, a great job. I also want to talk about the members that are here at home. And you all know, as we send companies out and we help protect the state, but we also have a responsibility at home here, and we backfill every one of those stations. So I'm glad to say is we've got some folks that are coming home. They're probably home by now, but the membership has done just an outstanding job that is out there. So that is all going well. We got a new hire. We have a new fire inspector too. Christian Ganya is just started on the 13th. On the 20th, office technician Yuri Maraquin is starting with us. We had a retirement of Captain Scott Fender. He had 26 years of service and retired as a captain on August 7th. A little reassignment effective on the 13th. Captain Steve Craig took a position on EMS 24. I think we had, Rick Griggs is here. We probably had, I think, 4 or 5 members that all interviewed for that position. So it was nice to see a number of members that wanted to be involved with the EMS position. We've had a number of meetings, as always, with command staff, day staff, some crews. A number of you and myself went over to Citrus Heights for a 2x2 meeting. From where we started maybe 2 years ago of getting those going and sitting down with them, I thought it was a very good meeting. We talked about some community service events, the CRD divisions and some code updates, some hazmat contracts. And one thing that we talked quite a bit about was about some fire and police department pathway programs. And with the San Juan Unified School District and Director Gould and Director Rosali had some information, and we're going to move forward with possibly working together in the future with those pathways areas. We had the Sac County Fire Chiefs meeting the other day. The 4 chiefs from the region and talked a lot about training, EMS, and operations, and some fire prevention. We had some folks from Placer County last Friday came up, and Placer County is probably where the district was maybe 25 or 30 years ago, where you have a number of fire agencies that are all separate fire districts or municipalities. They have 5 different dispatch centers that don't really talk to each other. So they came over and spent the day with us. We went through kind of the organization. Chief Johnson gave a little bit of history of how we got to where we got to. Then we went over to the dispatch center. And sometimes you're off on timing, and sometimes you're on. And we were very on is at the activity level and some of the calls. And they got to really see the system working quite well at that time. I got a little video we're going to show just real quick. You ready? A little bit about our folks.
This morning, if you've ever sat next to a campfire, you know how smoky your hair and your clothes get.
That kind of stinky. Well, now imagine being a firefighter and the level of smoke and debris that they're exposed to. It's right there. Brian Hickey joins us now with a look at why cleaning their gear has become a matter of safety more than cleanliness.
Yeah, this comes over time and research. Firefighters wear their turnouts, thick uniforms that not only protect them from fire, but also other debris. Now, research has shown that dirty laundry after an event is actually dangerous. On any given day, firefighters never know what they're going to encounter, from a car wreck to a grass fire or a structure fire, or in this case, what they'll be exposed to. Turnouts are their first line of defense, and as those turnouts do the job of protecting the firefighter wearing them, they also become a hazard over time, loaded with cancer-causing compounds. That is why Sacramento Metro Fire has their own specialized laundry service to clean, inspect, and repair the very expensive gear. These commercial extractors pull the contaminants from the fabrics that once was a task reserved until a firefighter couldn't really stand the smell of their own gear, now has become a safety factor after every incident.
our turnouts themselves are kind of a trap for a lot of these bad, dangerous byproducts. And then when we put those back in our fire engine or back in our vehicles to go to another station, that provides a carcinogenic situation for us to breathe.
Each firefighter is issued 2 sets of gear at $3,000 per set. Safety specialists not only wash the contaminated gear, they also inspect and repair the turnouts, prolonging the life of that expensive equipment. Again, firefighters used to reluctantly send their gear in, just knowing that it would take a while, days, maybe even weeks before they'd get it back. Now with their own in-house service, they can get it back in a day or two, and that is why they say it's a safety issue to make sure they get it cleaned. Back to you guys.
This morning, if you've ever sat next to a camp.
To brag on the group that's over there. You saw Bobby that was in there with the orange gloves on, that has been one of the safety technicians. Lindsay is over there. They work for Chief House. Them doing what they do every day to help protect our firefighters and provide them clean gear. The other part is that on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I sit on the Fire Service Board for the Underwriters Laboratories, UL. And what we spend our days talking about was what you saw right there. And kind of myself and another member from LA County, we had people from Chicago, New York, Cobb County, kind of across the United States, and then they brought together the University of Illinois, UL Laboratories, NIST, NIOSH, and we looked one whole day at just looking at gear and talking about the contaminants and washing the gear. What that is there is what right looks like. And I think as an organization, what we're trying to do more and more of is look at those best practices. And what you saw there was not only one of the things that we talked about there was how do you protect the member wearing the turnout gear and the cancer rates and what can we do and what are the next steps, but also the people that are taking care of it. There's another version of that Bobby actually, if you're watching closely, literally does not take it out of the bag, puts the bag inside the machine, removes it out of there, wears his glove, closes it. So a great job for him there. For me, it's an opportunity to get out with some really smart people that have quite a bit of grant funding to figure out what are we being exposed to, what are some of the safety mechanisms we can put in place. One of the conversations is, and with you all in the building trades, is these new wood buildings. And there's been a number of wood buildings now that are between 12 and 20 stories, and there's actually one that is on tap for 60 stories, made completely out of wood.
Wood framed?
Wood framed. Wow. Full dimensional, not full dimensional, but built wood. They build it off-site, bring it in, and so you start looking at what will be the challenges of being able to protect people, get people out of those buildings, and move forward. So that ends my report, unless you have any questions.
Any questions or comments for the chief? No. Thank you, Chief. Moving on to the operations report, Assistant Chief Wagaman.
Good evening, Directors, President Barnes, Chief Harms, Tyler Wagaman, Assistant Chief of Operations. I'm covering for Deputy Chief Bridge this evening with your operations report. Since the last board meeting on August 9th, a Metro Fire has responded to 3,742 incidents. Of those on the EMS side, 2,681 were EMS calls with a transport rate of 73%. Tonight I'm going to focus on some of our out-of-county responses. They're really a segue from the Fire Chief's report. I'm going to first focus on the Ferguson Fire, which is over 96,000 acres. We have 2 employees assigned to that incident as fire line medics. On the Mendocino Complex, the largest fire in state history, over 415,000 acres. We have 14 personnel assigned to that incident, 3 of which are engine companies, along with a strike team leader. We have personnel assigned to the Stone incident, which is 33,000 acres, 16% contained. We have 14 personnel, 3 of those engine companies. On the Donnell Fire, 34,000 acres, 62% contained. We have 4 personnel assigned to that incident. It has been a rough year for the fire service throughout the state of California, both with respect to injury and fatalities. And I want to bring one of those to light. And that was a line-of-duty death for Chief Burchett for the Draper Fire Department in Utah. And his team was working in the Mendocino Complex when He was struck by an overhead tree, a large tree, and sustained a significant injury for which he did not survive. But our helicopter program played a pivotal role in this incident. Copter 1, who's been assigned to the incident since July 28th, was dispatched to that rescue. And they were on scene within 12 minutes, and that includes a spool-up time. For folks that work in the Air Operations Division, that is a very, very quick get-up-and-go time. So 12 minutes on scene in a very rural area is a huge thumbs up. After just a few orbits in a 180-foot hoist operation and down into very rough terrain with literally fire on both sides of them, they were able to package the patient, hoist them back up to Copter 1, transport them to a local hospital, all within 47 minutes, still within the golden hour. The time frame that we look to get trauma patients to a hospital as quick as we possibly can. So I look to the members of Metro Fire, the folks on the ground that day, the folks within our Air Operations Division, and my hat is off to you for truly a job well done. This is just one example of the work that the men and women of Metro Fire are doing each and every day, not just locally, but throughout the state of California. So thank you. That concludes the operations report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have for me.
Thank you for that report. Any questions? No, thank you. And I agree with you. When you have Chief Burchett, who came from Utah, left his family to come fight a fire in California when he didn't have to, I mean, it just speaks volumes of the profession. And the members of Copter want to risk their lives to go into very dangerous situations to rescue him. Again, it's just first-class organization. There's not many professions that do it. I remember seeing, I have to comment on this, there was like someone had a doorbell where it's ringing. There's a firefighter talking to a homeowner who's in safety, but talking about, hey, I'm sorry your backyard burned up, but your house is okay. And I thought, man, how cool was that? Right. And just, again, I appreciate everything that the report out, but everybody that's on the ground in the strike teams, it's amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the Firefighters Local 522 report. Vice President Jameson.
Good evening, directors, President Barnes, Chief Harms, staff. Again, always a pleasure to be here. Last meeting, I was not here. We were up celebrating the 100th anniversary of the IFF in Seattle at the 54th convention. Great event to see the history there. They actually had the march-in of the original locals that formed the IFF walked in with their flags, and it was a really great event to celebrate the fire service and union involvement in the fire service. One of the great things up there is to go up there and just see where we're at as 522 and see how we represent, because now, you guys know, Brian Rice, our previous president, is CPF president, and to watch him maneuver in California and put California out there and 522 out there, it was really, really nice to see, to show that strength of California and 522. To be up there and to watch it work and to see that there's a lot of that talk now. It's funny, it's like the labor management talk, and I hear from people that come way before me that didn't used to be that way. And I hope that we maintain that. Here at Metro Fire, we have a good relationship between myself, the chief, everyone else we work with, the board. I feel like we need to build on that and move forward, and hopefully that it works well for all of us. And our membership, to hear what you see with the IFC, the Saudi piece, hear about our members out there in the fires. I think one thing that is safe to say is that Metro Fire is a pretty great place. We have some pretty great people. I am humbled, absolutely humbled, to see what we do on a daily basis. The fire service, we probably do ourselves a disservice, right, downplaying what we do. But to know we have members out there doing all types of disciplines, you heard it from Chief Wagaman, you saw the video. To have people come from another country into a firehouse, it's interesting, right? The firehouse is our homes. There were their challenges, but I think mostly there was rewards. And I think you, as board members, can be incredibly proud of the organization you represent. You watch the longer video. There's parts at the end you'll see a lot of smiling faces of members, arms around people. It's really a great thing. And finally, I want to say that It is great to be here. It's great to represent my membership. It's great to address you. And so far, I think this year, this coming fiscal year, it was nice to see the presentation earlier that the budget looks balanced, and I look forward to moving forward and hoping that it's going to be a great fiscal 18-19. So unless you have any questions for me, I'm done.
Thank you for being here. Any questions? I appreciate you being here as always, representing the membership, so thank you. Moving on to committee and delegate reports, Executive Committee, we do not have a meeting scheduled at this point. Communications Center JPA, Chief Johnson or Chief Wagaman.
Good evening again, Tyler Wagaman, covering for Chief Johnson. He did not have a report. The next meeting for the JPA is going to be on August 28th.
Thank you very much. California Fire Rescue JPA, Chief Shannon.
Good evening. I do have a few items tonight. Kind of sticking with the theme of everybody going out of doing more with less and reaching out. The JPA so far has really, I'd like to say, stepped up their game. They are starting to market themselves. They're starting to build a good relationship with our membership here and our training team. A couple of examples. What they have done recently is they've signed into a contract with the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitations with the fire captains that are at the prison fire departments for training. And I'm not exactly sure what that entails, but throughout the state of California, they're going to host and support that training. So that really is marketing themselves and getting themselves out there. Another instance that's going to be coming up in October, it's kind of an interesting class. I had to actually go over to the EMS division today, and I don't know if Captain Davis is in here. I had to actually figure what this was out. They're hosting what's called a Regional Resuscitation Academy. And it's a King County out of Seattle, coming down through with Dr. Mackey involved. And they're going to go over what they call pit crew CPR. It's a new way to, maybe it's not that new, but it's a way of doing CPR out in the field that will hope to improve survival rates for CPR. So they're going to host that. They're going to host it. They're going to deal with all the CE's administrative part and stuff like that. So again, we're looking all throughout the state, which is absolutely impressive so far. So other than that, I think with the busyness that's been going on, Christy Haverty has said that she's now got to the point where with our representing members here in agencies, they'll start be able to discount some of the rates for some of the courses that our members will take. So that's going to be a benefit to our members also. So moving forward, they're doing a good job, and we'll keep in contact with them and keep pushing and see where the rest of the year turns out. With that, if you don't have any questions, our next meeting is September 20th, 4 o'clock across the hall at the CESC.
Thank you very much for that report out. Any questions for Chief Shannon? Thank you. Finance and Audit Committee, Director Wood or Director Kelly.
The Finance and Audit Committee met this evening, and we heard the financial report through June, and then we also had a presentation on the final budget for 2017, 2018, 2019. And things are looking good. Budget is balanced, and it appears to be a surplus, but I wouldn't get too carried away.
Thank you very much for that report out. Policy Committee, Director Gould.
No report.
Thank you for the extensive report. Moving on to the board members' comments and questions. We will go into closed session after this, and hopefully none of you will be in here when we return. To my far right, Director Gale.
Well, this has been extremely difficult year for firefighting all over the country, and especially in our areas. Probably nothing compared to it before, Long hours, great job, stressful for families, and not too many fatalities. Thanks for the great effort, the work you do. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Director Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to thank the staff for their presentations this evening. It's been said already, but what a fantastic thing to see organizations around the world look at Metro Fire to come find out how we do it. I mean, think about the impact that that has internationally. That's pretty unbelievable. So I hope we continue in that vein and expand it even beyond this one particular organization, because I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to share what we know and have perfected and continue to perfect with the rest of the country and the world, frankly, to think that big. But kudos to all of you, because I know that there was a whole bunch of things, as a humble chief said, you know, it wasn't just him. I'm sure there were dozens and dozens of people. So thank you very much. It does, as I think was mentioned, it makes us proud. I can tell you absolutely 100% every day to be associated with this organization. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Director Gould. Moving down to the left, Director Kelly.
I too would like to thank the staff for their fabulous reports. Certainly, the hard work that goes into putting the budget together. The chief thanked everybody earlier. The entire staff of the finance department and all of the department heads that have input on it. And again, watching the looks on those gentlemen's faces from Saudi Aramco, seeing the fellowship that developed between our people and their people, it is an absolute pleasure to see somebody so welcomely or so warmly welcomed by Metro Fire. Nice to see. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Director Clark.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to thank staff and for their presentations, and I continue to pray that for the safety of our men and women out there fighting these fires. It's going on all over, but they're doing an excellent job under those circumstances. So I want to, like I said, I want to continue to pray for them to be safe out there. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Director Clark. Director Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chief Green, thank you for stepping up. Excellent report. Know you did a lot of work, and hopefully there will be more of these programs and collaborations going forward. And the only other thing to say, again, is just to be safe and come home. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Director Sheets.
Good evening. I wanted to wish the retiree best wishes, and I also want to thank everybody for their presentations tonight and the report out, Chief Wagman. I think that it's important to realize that 6 members of fire service have died, and for us to not only support the members that are out there, that are out there fighting the fire, but are here about their well-being and mental health, because this does hit very, very close to home, and it's very hard to see people that are in the fire service and how it does affect them. So I also want to wish them a safe return, because I know that we still have some members that are out there, and that's all.
Thank you very much. Director Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am very, very proud to hear of all the stories that have been recounted tonight. The storytelling is very, very important part, both for education in a direct sense and in an overview of what the fire service is about. So whether it's that very compelling story of the hoist rescue with the helicopter, whether it's the JPA stepping out to be a leader within California, whether it's Metro Fire stepping out on the international stage to create fire service firefighting bonds with other cultures, it's huge. So please continue to tell us. The storytelling is very, very important, and thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Director Jones. As I say, going last is never fun after all the comments. But again, these are my favorite type of meetings, because we saw information from ground level, people watching turnouts to make sure everybody's safe, all the way to training on a global perspective. And I'll tell you, it's amazing to see that. And we also know that there's a bunch of professional staff behind the scenes that are trying to get money back and reimbursement from being out on these strike teams, and that's not easy as well. But the leadership alone, Chief Arms, I know you have a great staff, but from you, your direction, your connections on a national level to be able to put us on this forefront is absolutely amazing. I appreciate your leadership on that. I was not here last meeting, so I'd like to thank Director Sheets for chairing the meeting. The one thing I liked about the washing of the turnouts is this. If you go to the Firefighter Memorial and you read every year, majority, 3/4 if not more, is because of caustic chemical cancers type deaths. We have had a lot of line of duty fire deaths this year, and that is unfortunate, but more often than not, it is because of what the chemicals that are on those turnouts and what they're exposed to. So thank you again for seeing that as an important task, working with 522 and getting them the necessary protection that they need. So tonight we talked about the firefighters. It was brought to me, my attention again on Chief Burchett. It was brought up in this meeting. I think it's profound that someone comes from a different state, a neighboring state, to help us fight our fires and ultimately loses his life. In this profession, professionals have to tell their family members or loved ones they have some special magic powers that would never happen to them, because in light of social media, that news is out there before family members are notified. And more often than not, especially on the fire lines, they're not quick enough to be able to send that message and say, I'm okay. I've been there, it's not fun, and you got everybody worrying about it. So to echo what Director Sheets says, the thoughts and prayers are with the ones on the front lines, but more also with the families here worrying that they're going to get that phone call or that social media post is going to reach them before that phone call happens. But just a little bit about Chief Burchett. Is a editorial from Governor Brown. I'm going to start midway down. Just firefighters from across the nation world have selflessly battled California's massive wildfires. And sadly, today we mourn the loss, this was dated August 14th, of one of those heroes from Draper, Utah, Chief Matthew Burchett. Our hearts ache for his wife and young son, family members, loved ones, colleagues with the Draper City Fire Department, entire state of Utah. Chief Burchett, 42, was deployed in the California wildfires earlier this month, along with 4 other firefighters from Draper, Utah. He had worked with his local fire department since May and previously served 20 years with the Greater Salt Lake Unified Fire Authority. The flags were lowered to half staff, but I will tell you again, it is the selfless duty and the honorable service that these firefighters provide every day. So again, thank you. We will conclude this meeting with a moment of silence for all, but specifically Chief Burchett and all the members of Copter 1 who went to try and render that the aid and save a person's life. So with that, we are going to adjourn and go into closed session. So thank you all for being here. No offense, but hopefully we don't see you when we return. Have a good evening. Okay, we'll go back into call this meeting to order in open session. We'll have a report out from Council Laver.
Thank you, Director Barnes. The board met in closed session. Per the agenda, closed session item number 1, conference with labor negotiator and met with its district negotiator with respect to the employee organizations listed therein. No action was taken. Item number 2, the board met in a closed session on pending litigation, Barbara Law versus Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. No action was taken. The board met in closed session with respect to the Government Code Section 910 tort claims filed by, in subpart A, Sophia De Felice, a minor, and in subpart B, Gianna De Felice. In both cases, the board voted to reject those claims. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's going to be the end of the meeting tonight. Next board meeting will be September 13th, 2018, 6 p.m. in these chambers.